Let's look at a few koans. So the Elder Ting asked Lynchi, Master, what is the great meaning of Buddha's teachings? So Ting here is the disciple and he is asking Lynchi. And it's a perfectly legitimate question, a very sincere question, politely asked. Master, what is the great meaning of Buddha's teachings? We would expect any teacher to appreciate such a question. But what do we get here? Lynchi came down from his seat, slapped Ting and pushed him away. And what has Ting done? Just asked what is the great meaning of Buddha's teachings. And he has been slapped and pushed away. Now Ting was stunned and stood motionless. This movement of receiving an electric shock is very central to the Koan method. Ting was stunned and stood motionless. A monk nearby said, Ting, why do you not bow? This is usual practice, politeness, decorum, mannerism. To bow to the master when you receive an answer. You ask a question and if the master answers you, you are supposed to bow. But Ting has been so badly stunned that he has forgotten the protocol. And at that moment, Ting attained great enlightenment. This is the Koan. And with the usual conditioned mind, you will not be able to make much sense of it. What is happening? Here you are, Ting, thinking of yourself as a student. You think you are a student. But had you really been a student, then all that you act being a student would have been very central to your being. If I am a student right from my core, then all my actions that I display as being those of a student should be spontaneous. Should be very spontaneous, right? Never optional. But here, see, one push, one slap, and you forgot all decency, all politeness, you just stood shocked. What does that mean? That being a student is not your primary identity. Being a student or being even Ting is just something that you are wearing over yourself. And that which you are wearing over yourself is exactly what has been slapped and pushed aside by the teacher. Please understand. So Ting is asking, what is the core of Buddha's teaching? And the master says, this is the core of Buddha's teaching, that all that which is false must be slapped and pushed away. And whatever Ting has become, whatever he thinks of himself, whatever his personality is, whatever his identity is, all that is just false. And that's exactly what the Buddha has taught. Whatever you think of yourself deserves to be slapped and pushed away. And that's exactly what I did. And when I did that, I was proven right, because when the student was slapped and pushed away, see, the student ceased to be a student. The proof is that he did not bow. Had the student been really inexorably a student, irreversibly a student, choicelessly a student. He would have remained a student even in his death. Even in the moment of his death, he would have still not forgotten that he is a student and would have continued to show the usual cultural obedience and reverence to the teacher. But you see, whatever you think of yourself is just like the courtesy of bending and bowing to the teacher. It is a thing of the mind. It is a thing of memory. It is a thing of convenience. It is a thing of conditioning. And that's what needs to be slapped and pushed away, and that's the Buddha's teaching. So koans in that sense become more experiential than just analytical. Analysis requires time. Koans do not give you time to analyze. They are like a bolt from the blue. You are hit, shattered, before your defenses can get activated, before your logic can become a shield and armor and protect you. The master just suddenly sends something your way and you are unprepared. And he says, Acha. Getting it? The same thing Vedanta does in a more elaborate way. The teacher will go a long distance, very laboriously teaching you that your personality is false, that the ego is the false center, that your thoughts, beliefs, opinions, emotions are just objects of conditioning. And the student would be sitting and the teacher would be taking a lot of pains delivering these things to him. In the Koan method, these things are delivered experientially and instantaneously. But the limitation of the Koan method is these things can work only on someone who is very, very prepared, very, very ripe already. If you are not ripe enough, when the teacher slaps you, you will just feel offended. Worse still, you may slap the teacher back. What the Koan does not say is that Ting was already a very mature student. And when you are just there, right at the edge of the cliff, but unable to take the final step into the abyss, the depths of the unknown, that's when Koans come handy. Koans are not for someone who is just beginning his journey or is at some point in the middle of it. Koans are for those who are like ripe mangoes hanging from the branches. Already very ripe, but for some reason unable to leave the attachment to the branch. And in that process, now they run the danger of getting decayed or being spoilt by birds or something. Right? If a ripe fruit stays for too long on the tree, then that's not good. It must leave the branch. Otherwise, both the seed and the pulp stand threatened. But it often does happen that a mango or some fruit might be quite ripe, but still not falling. Koans are like the shock. You go and just shake the trunk up or the branch. You shake it up and the ripe ones fall. Vedanta takes you from your very ordinary state to a state of ripeness. And that's why you will find that most of the koans are presented as discussions between the disciple and the master. So it is already a disciple, an advanced disciple, who is asking a question and the master replies, and then often the koan ends with, and the disciple was immediately enlightened. So it is already an advanced disciple who gets immediately enlightened.